Hello, everybody. This is the first time I'm doing this. Not sure if this is going to be right, but as you can see, I'm here to draw a scene from my book, Thornwood, and this is a very important scene because this is when I introduce the character Sophia, and she's a little scary, as you can see. And this is very important because this is also when I tell the readers that this is not a regular magical teen story. This is a little scary. There are mysteries going around. There are scenes that may frighten the readers. Anyway, Sophia, she's a character that just existed in book one. She's very important because she's the first character that has powers. And the reason why she shows up is, well, I think she is very important because she's sort of what unleashes the whole story. About the general who is watching the students. The scene, she comes to Annabelle's bedroom to steal her brush because she's being captive on the tower, and apparently she has no brush to brush her hair. And since she's a student who is supposed to be hiding, but she's still a very well, she's a girl. She likes to look pretty even though she's hiding. And she gets this sheet and she climbs down the window to steal Annabelle's brush. And, well, Annabelle gets frightened then because this is the first time she actually noticed something weird is going on in the school besides her friend Lee, who has powers. And Sophia looks a little dirty. She's supposed to look dirty. Her hair is supposed to look like it's plastered, ew. But this is sort of how this is supposed to look. Because even though she has a room and she is captive, and she's supposed to do everything hiding. And that's basically it. Here in the line. This is a scene when Annabelle sees her. Annabelle sort of runs away from her bedroom. She starts thinking the girls' room are haunted. And this is actually a place where I started to make Annabelle sort of talk to Lee a little more, because to this point she was sort of avoiding him, not being friendly as she usually is with everybody. And, well, to tell you a bit about the story, the book's about this girl. She's Annabelle. She's royalty. She has this title. She's a duchess, and she's a very conscious about it. So she goes to school. She doesn't tell anybody. Then she makes friends with Lee as soon as she arrives at the airport. Although she doesn't know he has powers, and he is there to look, not to study as everybody else, but he is there to find out what happened with his father and to get this place. He has inherited a cabin in the forest inside Thornwood grounds, and he's there to look at this place. And these parents, they are sort of a mystery. I'm not going to say anything about his dad or his mom until very late, perhaps in the second or the third book. And here, I love painting her. Anyway, then there is another boy, Mark. He's the only one who has a mom and dad, a full family, and he has sisters. And he's sort of like the kid who, since he grew up with other people in his house, he is self-aware that he must do his part, he must help, even though he's from a very rich family, because in Thornwood everybody is rich. Thornwood is supposed to be a safe haven where extremely rich parents send their spoiled kids to spend the year. This is why Annabelle is there in the first place, because she's supposed to marry a prince and be the future queen, and she's sort of like a tomboy. She grew up in this house, not exactly a castle or anything like this, but a really big house in the country. Actually, her country doesn't exist. I made it up, but here, because I didn't want to anybody saying, she look like, I don't know, Buckingham Palace, you know. I think she was supposed to look more small country royalty, you know, would be really close to normal. And she grows up alone because she had a friend when she was little and he was kidnapped. Although she thinks he was kidnapped, but he just disappeared. The facts are that he disappeared one night and she never saw him again. And her friend is a mystery that I will reveal just later in the story as well. And here. Anyway, Mark, he is the boy who comes from a really rich family. And unlike Annabelle, he is more sociable than the other students. Annabelle, she grew up alone. All she knows is that she likes to play in the forest. She likes to. She sort of entertains herself. Her only friend was the boy who disappeared. And she grew up with adults around her, like, all the time. So she doesn't really know how to make friends. It makes her a little weird when she's trying to be friendly, because she sort of introduces herself and meddles, you know, in the middle of meddles. She just sort of she's nosy. That's the word. She's nosy. She puts herself in the middle of a group of the boys, and she doesn't know she's annoying them. She just wants to be part of it. She thinks it's going to be fun. She wants to make friends. She doesn't want to be left out. but the way she does it, she sort of annoys the boys, and she doesn't know it. She thinks they are her friends, but actually they are just here. They are just sort of putting up with her because she now knows their secret. But they eventually start liking each other. And since she's better with friendship, she feels more at home being friends with boys. Her best friends are Lee and Mark. Eventually she has a friend who's called Marie, and Marie, she's a French girl. She's the daughter of a very rich and very talented chef, and her dad, he is very not just talented, but he's very nice. He's very lovely dad, because he's even though she is in a boarding school, he sends her his recipes, his pies, and chocolate and everything he makes, he sends to her. And this sort of surprises Annabelle because she doesn't get many letters from her mom. Oh, and she doesn't know her dad, which is another mystery. And well, let's just say things will get a little more serious in the second book. But what you need to know in the first one is Sophia is hiding because the general is looking for her. He knows she has powers. And Annabelle gets really concerned about Lee because once she learns he has powers too, which is right in the beginning of the story, this is not a spoiler, she wants to protect him. Although she does want him to become some sort of a hero, she even makes him a hero costume, which I think it was kind of cute. And then here, okay. And then she feels a little betrayed when Lee starts being a better friend with Mark than with her. Boy stuff, I think. Boys talk with boys, and Mark's sort of his best friend, and Annabelle feels she doesn't have a best friend because voila, her best friend was the boy who disappeared again, and she feels left out. That's Annabelle's big problem, I think, through the whole story. She's trying really hard to be accepted because she doesn't even know how to make friends. She's very lonely, and since she had no training in making friends growing up, she doesn't really know she's being annoying. And there's also this girl who is Hayden. She's a very self-confident girl. She's totally the opposite of Annabelle. And there's a rumor her dad is a criminal. I think I called him a mob boss. And she's sort of an evil Paris Hilton, I think. That's how I would just call Hayden. All the girls in there, they are sort of evil as well. Evil, rich. All the girls are incredibly rich. There's this girl who is the daughter of a very famous model, but she's not as pretty as her mom. And I want to explore more about her relationship with her mother because, well, this is a little weird, you know. She wants to be a model too. She wants to be not better, but she wants to be as famous as her mom, and she can't. Let me see what else. There is Justiniana, who is Annabelle's maid. Every girl has a maid. This is important, so as soon as people start reading the book, they understand that, wow, these kids, they are really, really spoiled. And it's supposed to be a little annoying at first because, people are not exactly used to this bubble world where they are living, and this world is supposed to sound fake and have the kids have all their wishes attended, and they know nothing about the real world, which is going to clash with their own reality. It's going to burst their bubbles. In the another book, not in this first one. This first one, I'm just introducing their small, rich world. And eventually they will, I need to burst it, to show them that, well, your world is, you're very privileged, and this is not how it's going to be. The real world isn't like that. And I love superheroes. This is why I made Lee sort of have powers in the first place. I was just going to play with the mystery of Sophia and the staff who hides everything from the students to protect them. But eventually I decided to make Lee powers known right at first. First because, well, let's just show the readers that we are talking about a mystery here and not just privileged kids. And the second part, there's a figure skating competition, which I first start showing a little bullying and discomfort in the story, because Marie, she really likes figure skating, and she is a little off shape, let's say, of what a slim figure skater is supposed to look like, and she can't take the Hayden's teasing, so she enrolls Annabelle to participate. Which isn't exactly what Annabelle wants, but she had a lake in her home, and she sort of reminds how to figure skate, and she decides to try just to make Marie happy, and this is how her friendship with Marie sort of evolves. And this is how she also gets an enemy, because she's really good at figure skating, and Hayden wants to be the best. You know, the usual evil girl sort of thing. Yeah. And then the figure skating is a really important scene as well, because this is where Lee actually uses his powers to help someone else and not just for himself. Because basically, until that point, he was struggling with his powers to. He doesn't really know what his powers are for, so he uses it for not important things like floating cupcakes, floating muffins, and doing a little trick here, another trick there. And it's also a very funny scene when Annabelle realizes Lee and Mark are using his powers to make girls think they're a wizard in the forest, and sort of, you know, they want to impress the ladies. They are boys after all, really young boys. And that's the point when Annabelle starts feeling a little lonely, because she is friends with boys, and this is not exactly what she was expecting from a friendship, you know. Can you guys hear the airplane? Because I live near the airport, the international airport, and sometimes really big airplanes just pass by. Oh, and Annabelle's hair is red. It's important that her hair is messy and red because it connects her with yet another mystery that will be in book 2. She starts wondering about her origins, you know. She just lived with her mom all the time. She wants to know who her dad was, and if somehow he connected with how her friends appeared. In the end, everything sort of comes back to her missing friend, because her big struggle is to have friends. She only had one friend. And even though there are, see the airplane, can you hear it? Anyway, you know those teen dramas, nobody likes me, I'm different. But she doesn't know how she really feels because she is a teen and emotions are a little rough. All she knows is that she wants to be accepted. I think she is in a different developing, in a different stage of growing up than the other friends. The other students, they are sort of already used to each other. They are friends for a really long time. And and she just sort of barges in, and she doesn't tell them about her being a duchess and probably future queen because she's embarrassed about it. She thinks it's not going to be good for her relationship with the other students, especially the girls. But sometimes it's actually works as a defense. And she sort of bursts, and everybody knows who she is eventually. Wow, that's pretty much it. What can I say about book one that won't spoil anything? Well, the scene with Sophia is very important, and I had a lot of fun with it. Actually, this scene, I hope people will realize that it was inspired by Jane Eyre. Another airplane. And birds. Because this hiding crazy lady in one big house sort of inspired me. You know, I think it's funny. My computer screen looks a little, the colors look one way, but when I post the art, the final art, the colors look different. Always think I am painting with a tone lighter. This is probably going to be a big surprise when I save this video to put it on my IG later. Oh yes, her eyes are purple bluish, you know, like Elizabeth Taylor, I think. Violet eyes. And she hates the color of her eyes because she thinks they don't match her hair. She doesn't really like her hair. And she's not going to like it for a while until she realizes where it really comes from. Do you remember when you were a kid and it looks like not just your parents but the world sort of keeps things from you? At first you don't care, but then you start thinking, hey, I'm a person too, I want to know what's going on, what can you pay forward with me? Oh well. Almost finished. Well, but better start thanking everyone now. Thank you everyone for watching, and I don't know how many of you actually have the time or the patience to see me drawing. I really like doing this. It's very relaxing, and I have drop days, very energy consuming, you know, so this is restore me. I hope you guys like it, and I think I will try to save it on IGTV, yeah. And then I don't know if I can, I think I will need to cut the songs that I put in there. And this video was really long. What is it, 1 hour already? I thought it was going to be faster. Perhaps I should edit this and put it a little a smaller one. Anyway, if you have any questions, just send it to me. I will answer everything I can when I post the finished drawing. I'll just finish it, the lightning effects on Photoshop, and I will post it with all questions answered. Do you have a favorite scene from anything, not just a book or a cartoon, just any favorite scene anywhere? Just tell me, because this is probably my favorite scene. Just so fun to write. Anyway, I think that's it. I will cut it a little, and that's it. I'll see you guys later. Tell me if you like this thing I'm doing here. Thank you.